Hello my lovely friends, how are you? Today in this lecture we are going to learn about design challenges and optimizing design matrices. The embedded system designer must of course construct an implementation that fulfills desired functionality, but a difficult challenge is to construct an implementation that simultaneously optimize numerous design matrices. So common design matrices in that for our purposes an implementation consists either of a microprocessor with an um, program, a connection of digital gates or some combination. A design metric is measurable feature of systems implementation. Commonly used matrices are NRE cost, that is non-recurring engineering cost, the one-time monetary cost of designing the system. Once the system is designed, any any number of units can be manufactured without incurring any additional cost, design cost. Hence, the term is non-recurring. Next one is unit cost, the monetary cost of manufacturing each copy of the system, excluding NRI and RE cost. Next one is size. The physical size required by this system, often measured in bytes for software and gates or transistor for hardware. Next one is performance, the execution time of the system. Next one is power, the power of the amount of power consumed by the system, which may be determined the lifetime of a battery or the cooling requirement of the IC. Since more power means more heat, therefore it is an important factor. Next one is flexibility, the ability to change the functionality of the system without incurring heavy NRE cost. Um, the software is typically considered very flexible. Time to prototype, the time needed to build a working version of the system, which may be bigger or more expensive than the final system implementation, but it can be used to verify the system's usefulness and correctness, um, and to refine the system's functionality. Time to market. Next one is the time required to develop a system to the point that it can be released and sold to the customers. The main contributors are design time, manufacturing time, and testing time. Next one is maintainability, the ability to modify the system after its initial release, especially by the designers who did not originally design the system. Next one is correctness. Our confidence that we have implemented this system's functionality correctly. We can check the functionality throughout the process of designing the system, and we can insert test circuitry to check that manufacturing was correct or not. Next one is very important, that is safety. The probability that the system will not cause any harm to human beings and to the normal life of the world. And the matrices typically compare with one another, improving one often lead to worsening of the another. For example, if we reduce the implementation size, the implementation performance may suffer. Some observers have compared this phenomena to a wheel with numerous pin. You can see this if we this is the wheel, and you can see over here performance, power, size, NRE, and how it affect a system. To best meet this optimizing challenge, the designer must be comfortable with a variety of hardware and software implementation technologies, and must be able to migrate from one technology to another in order to find the best implementation for a given application and constraints. Thus, a designer cannot simply be a hardware expert or a software expert, as is commonly the case today. The designer must have expertise in both area, that is in software and in hardware as well. The time to market design metric. Most of these matrices are heavily constrained in an embedded system. The time to market constraints have become especially demanding in recent years. Introducing an embedded system to the marketplace early can make a big difference in the system's profitability, since market window for product can be are becoming quite short, with such window often measured in months. We can see this first graph where in x-axis we have time in months and revenue. By we are seeing a graph which is firstly increasing, and in appropriate time if we accomplish the project, we will be getting right revenue, and after certain months it will goes on decreasing. This figure shows a sample market window during which time product would have highest sales. Missing this window, which means that the product begins um, being sold further to the right on the time scale, can mean significant loss in sales. In some In some cases, each day that a product is delayed from introduction to the market can translate to $1 million loss. The average time to market constraint have been reported as having shrunk to only 8 months. Mm, just only 8 months. Adding to the difficulty of meeting the time to market constraint is the fact that embedded system complexities are grown due to increasing IC capacities. Such rapid growth in IC capacity translate into pressure on designers to add more functionality to a system. Thus, designers today are being asked to do more in less time. So let's investigate the loss of revenue that can occur due to delay entry of a product in the market. We will use a simplified model of revenue as shown in the figure. This model assumes the peak of the market occurs at halfway point, denoted as W, of the product life, and that the peak is same even for delayed entry. The revenue for an on-time market entry is the area of the triangle labeled on time, and the revenue for a delayed entry product is the area of the triangle labeled delay. We can simply find the area by half into base into height, and we can find the area of delayed triangle and on time triangle. The revenue loss for a delayed entry is just difference of two triangle area. Let's derive an equation for percentage loss, which equals what uh, on time minus delay. Okay, delayed divided by on time. Got it? And for percentage we will multiply by 100, and this will be equals to the percentage of revenue loss For simplicity, we will assume the market rise angle is 45 degree, meaning the height of the triangle is W and the area of on time triangle is computed as half into base into height. Here we can write as half into W into 2W, or we can write just W square. The area of delayed triangle, we can write it as half into W minus D plus W multiplied by W minus D. After algebraic simplification, we can obtain the percentage revenue loss as percentage revenue loss as what, D 3W minus D 2W square and then multiplied by 100. As another example, let us consider NRE cost and unit cost in more details. Suppose three technologies are available for use in particular product. Assume that implementing the product using technology A would result in an NRE cost of $2,000 and unit cost of $100. Technology B would have an NRE cost of $30,000 and unit cost of $30, and that technology C would have an RE cost of $1 lakh and unit cost of $2. Just ignoring all other design matrices like time to market, the best technology choice will depend on the number of unit we plan to produce. We illustrate this concept with this sort of figure. Just this is the graph where the product of A, B and C are plotted with in x-axis we have number of unit in volumes, and the in y-axis we have total cost. For each of three technology we plot total cost versus the number of unit product, where we can write total cost will be equals to NRE cost plus unit cost, and this unit cost will be of units. We will see from the plot that of all the three technologies, technology A yield the lowest total cost for low volumes, namely for volumes between 1 to 1 to we can say 400, and technology B yield the lowest cost for volumes between 400 to 2500, and for technology say C yield the lowest cost for volumes above 2500. Let's illustrate with another figure how larger volumes allow us to optimize uh, an RE cost such that lower product cost result. The figure plots per product cost versus volume, where per we can write per product cost is equals to what we can write, total cost divided by what, total number of units. Okay, or we can write it like this, and RE cost divided by unit plus unit cost. This is from here. The performance of a system is a measure of how long the system takes to execute our desired task. Performance is perhaps the most widely used design metric in marketing and embedded system, and also one of the most abused thing. Many matrices are commonly used in reporting system performance. such as clock frequency or instruction per second. However, what we really care about is how long the system takes to execute our application. For example, in the terms of performance, we care about how long a digital camera takes to process an image. The camera's clock frequency or instruction per second are not the key issue. One camera may actually process images faster but have a lower clock frequency than other camera. With that, several measures of performance. For simplicity, suppose we have a single task that will be repeated over and over, such as processing an image in a digital camera. The two main measures of performance are latency or response time, the time between the start of task as execution and the end. For example, processing an image may takes uh, around 0.2 seconds. And next one is throughput, the number of tasks that can be processed per unit time. For example, a camera may be able to process 4 images per second, or if you are taking in latency response time 0.2 second, then it can process around 5. However, note that the throughput is not always just the number of tasks. Time latency, a system may be able to do better than this by using parallelism, either by starting one task before finishing the next task, uh, or by processing each task concurrently. A digital camera, for example, might be able to capture and compress the next image while still storing the previous image to the memory. Thus, our camera may have a latency of 0.2 second, but throughput may be of 8 images per second. Embedded system performance at a very detailed level is also often of concern. In particular, two signal changes may have to be generated or measured within some number of nanosecond. Suppose we have speed up is a common method of comparing the performance of two systems. This speed up of A over system B is determined simply. We can write that speed up of A over B is equals to performance of A divided by performance of B. Performance could be measured either as latency or as a throughput, and depending on what is of interest. Suppose the speed up of a camera A over camera B is 2, then we also can say that A is 2 times faster than B and B is 2 times slower than A. Hope you have understood this lecture. In next lecture we are going to discuss processor technology. If you're watching till now, please press like button, and if you're new to channel, please press the subscribe button and bell button. Thank you for watching.